All right, there we go. Hello. I wasn't sure if I unmuted myself or not. All right, this is May 16th roundtable call. I'm just going to turn this light on here. I'll make it a little bit better. All righty. Okay, so you're probably catching the replay because it looks like it's just me here today on the roundtable call. And so I want to thank you for watching the replay. And I hope you had a great week. And I enjoyed my day yesterday. I took a little bit of time off aside from a couple little administrative things and teaching classes. It was my birthday, so I decided to move the call to tonight. So you ladies know that your health is important, right? And I hope we all recognize this by now, because without our health, like we won't feel good, and we won't have the energy to put into doing things that we love, or we might be moody or react poorly with our friends or family, or we might have other physical ailments that don't allow us to live life the way we wish to. And it takes up a lot of our time dealing with issues, and it becomes a vicious cycle. So I want you to take a moment and be so darn proud of yourself for taking action and taking care of your health. And I should say also taking imperfect action and taking care of your health. If coming into this was something newer to you, then, yes, initially it feels like a lot of work, or, or maybe it was looked at as like, okay, this is like a chore to take care of my health. But once you start, once you develop the habits that you have now, it just becomes a lifestyle. And I remember having a conversation last summer with a client who, was working on things, getting this all sorted out. And she asked me, she said to me, she's like, well, am I always going to have to work out for like 5 days a week for the rest of my life? And I didn't want to say that she has to, but what I did say was that it will really and truly just become part of your life. Exercise and movement, both of those things, are a necessary piece of the puzzle, the big picture. So it will just become something that you just start doing without a second thought. It becomes part of your day, part of your life, part of your week. And here we are almost a year later, and it is a part of her life, and she loves it, and that's just what she does. So I want you all to just keep plugging away, and eventually, that meal prep or those workouts or doing your meditations, or whatever it is, it will become second nature. It's just what you end up doing to take care of your health, and you will benefit greatly from it down the road. You don't want to get too far off down the road not taking care of yourself and wishing you would have started sooner, right? So keep working at it. And, with that being said about taking care of our health and building habits, starting in June, there will be some weekly mandatory minimums to maintain your membership. My goal with the Strength and Balance Project is to have an active and engaged community of women who are all on a similar path, working alongside one another and cheering each other on. These women in the group are warriors, and they push through, and they stay focused, and they stay present. When there are members who are negative, or they don't engage, or they don't check in, or they try to change the program, or they don't listen to the calls, or they don't look at any of the lessons in the platform, it can really bring the energy down. And I get a lot of messages behind the scenes with questions and struggles. And, these things, they've all been addressed time and again in our coaching calls and in the members platform. And I want you all to be successful, but I can't chase after you all, and I can't save everyone. You have to do this for yourself. And this is your community. I have built this community and this environment. This environment allows for change, it promotes positivity, and it promotes transformation. It is a safe place. So I'm going to implement this and like these weekly minimums, and I'm going to stay true to this for a variety of reasons. And if these minimums actually aren't met, then we may have a discussion about your account being closed out. Now, I know this sounds kind of harsh or it's tough love, however you want to look at it, but at the same time, it is for your benefit, because if you really want something, you're going to do it. And when it's mandatory, it will help you to build the habits so that everything we're doing simply just becomes something that you just do, and it feels easy to do. And in all my years of being in the health and fitness industry, I've found that the people that have the best results are the ones who follow the program and stay engaged. It's very simple. It's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. So you have a choice. So I'm getting a little tough with you all, all right? And the women in this group, in our group, they commit to themselves, they commit to their goals and to the program. And they know it's not always going to be perfect. It's not all going to be rainbows and butterflies, and things will come up, but they keep pushing forward. So here are your minimums per week. And pay attention here. These are mandatory minimums to maintain membership in the Strength and Balance Project. Number 1, you must track and complete 3 workouts from the program. Remember, this is per week. Number 2, complete the Monday meditation and comment below within 48 hours. Number 3, post once anything related to health, fitness, nutrition, happiness. This could be a written post, it could be a photo, you could post a video, it could be a live video, at least once per week. Number 4, watch or listen to the weekly coaching call. Better yet, if you can join me, that would be fantastic, so we could actually talk and we can get to know one another, and I can help you with anything going on. So that's number 4, watch or listen to the weekly coaching call and answer the questions that I ask, or write your takeaways in the comments below. And number 5, check in on the weekly check-in post. So that would be answering those questions every Saturday. So those are your 5 minimums, or 5 points for the minimums per week. Now, there are other things that will, help you succeed, that will help you be successful, and that is tracking your macros, so that's self-monitoring, filling out your daily or weekly planner, completing lessons in the members platform, okay? These are other key components, but the ones that I listed are going to be those mandatory minimums. And if you are on Facebook regularly, then take a minute to focus on something positive that's going to benefit your health and your happiness. So take a minute and come into our group, okay? We're going to focus on something positive and maybe make a post in the group or comment below something. I will be sending out a message to everybody. I will send a message as well as an email because things somehow always get missed, okay? So you will know about this, and if you have any questions, just let me know and we will chat. Of course, I understand you're human. If you are sick and you can't do something, that's fine. You just have to let me know. There has to be communication, all right? Because I care about all of you, and I'm doing my best to help everybody all over the place here. So I need some information back as to what's going on, okay? So please don't tell me 3, 4, or 5 weeks down the road that, whatever, something happened to you and that's why you couldn't do the program, and now, just please talk to me, let me know what's going on. Okay, so I know that was a lot to kind of take in, but just give it a moment, let it settle in. Maybe you might want to rewind and listen to the minimums, okay? It's going to be, they're kind of similar to the 28-day challenge. And I found with that, when there were certain criteria that you had to meet, people were really on the ball with that. I think too, because they also had to put money down, and a lot of people wanted their money back. So they really stayed on top of it. But I think these are some fundamental things that will help you reach your goals and help you to build those habits. Because, once you've got down the fact that, it's important to work out at least 3 times per week, keep that with you for the rest of your life, please. Keep exercising and moving your body. That's so important. And then all these other things that we're working on will also fall into place as well. All right. So tonight's topic I was going to give you a few tips on breaking the binge, and I'll try to keep it short because this topic is it's pretty big. Like it could be a huge discussion, and I really will only scratch a tiny bit of the surface here. But I do want to give you some things that you can kind of use right away to start breaking the cycle, and also some concepts and things to think about as well. Okay, because binge eating can result from a multitude of factors. They can stem from the psychological side. They can stem from the physiological side. They can stem from the emotional side. It could be from a multitude of factors. That's why it's a huge discussion, and it does take a lot of work, but I will give you some good tips that will help you. So binge eating on one level is self-abuse, like self-harm. It can also be self-sabotage. It can also be self-preservation. It can also be trying to fulfill something that is lacking in your life, like connection, love, pleasure, purpose. It can really be a lot of things. And your first step with anything, with any issue or problem, is realizing first that it is an issue and it's not helping you. That's the first step, is recognizing that there's a problem. Your second step is to remember that you are human, and we as humans can get a little mixed up from time to time. So forgive yourself, okay? And be kind to yourself. Take that pressure off yourself that you have to have it all figured out, or that you have to be perfect. Get rid of that idea right now, because there is not one person on this earth who is perfect. And what the hell is perfect anyway? And if everyone was perfect, how boring would that be? Now, from there, that's where you start diving into figuring out what can be triggering for you, or start using various tools to overcome the issue. You then become a beautiful work in progress. And I'm going to list some ideas and concepts for you to think about that have helped myself and other clients over the years. But before that, I want you to know that you have control over this, and you can and will overcome this. If binge eating has become almost like a habit for you, then to break the cycle is to actually stop acting on the urges. You will start to break the neural pathways that have formed this behavior and habit. And yes, it will take some work initially, because you have to recognize the urge and literally kind of break it all of a sudden and say out loud, I feel the urge to binge eat, or I am going to binge eat. Say it out loud. Actually verbalizing it, this changes the process in your brain. It's almost like, because normally you might be in your brain, okay, I feel this urge to binge, I'm going to binge, and you're not saying anything, and you just kind of really go and you do it. Stop it for a second and verbalize it, okay? And from there, tell yourself you do not have to act on this urge. You don't have to. No one is forcing you to. And this may not help you every time, but the more you stop acting on the urge, the less frequent those urges become. Less frequent those urges come, I should say. And the easier they will be to turn away. And you will start breaking the pattern and forming new connections in your brain. Now, I know that it can feel scary to not want to act on those urges, because it's like, okay, well, now what do I do instead? Or if I don't eat that, I lose a sense of comfort or happiness. And yes, that is a real fear, but we do know, we are all very smart, we do know that there are other things that make us happy and give us comfort. So we need to start changing what it is we do for that comfort, rather than self-harming with excessive amounts of food. And, you know, this, whatever you're going to do, this is going to be different for everyone. And it might not even be the same tool that you use every time. And that's okay. We have lots of tools, lots of different things that can help us. It's a very holistic approach. And during my recovery, I would do different things almost each time. But for the most part, it was just getting myself out of the house or out of the kitchen and going for a walk. Like, I can't be stuffing my face if I am outside in public and going for a walk. So I did lots of other things, and I've shared some of these things before, but my urges to binge eat, because I kept starting to stop them, they have become incredibly rare. But back then, the feeling was, I was like, oh, okay, I feel this. Now this is my time to get the hell out of the house and walk. Now, there would be other times where I would actually make myself some type of treat. If I felt like I wanted to binge eat on a certain comfort food, I would take the time and I would make myself that treat, a healthier version, because I learned how to, reduce the carbohydrate intake. I learned how to reduce the caloric intake of certain things. And maybe I would eat a large quantity of it. But the simple fact that I was making food for myself, it took up time. So in that time, I could have eaten lots of food. I could have. But my time was used up making a recipe, baking, the healthy version of something. So the next time you have an urge, do not act on it and see how it feels. I promise you, you will be okay. You have to do this for yourself. You have to go through the hard, struggling feelings in order to break through to the other side. So do not act on that next urge and see how it feels, and check in with yourself, and then go to bed and wake up the next morning and continue to keep doing this, and remind yourself that you are safe and you are loved. And if it's any particular food that you want, you know that food will always be around in your lifetime. So you aren't missing out on anything. Okay? Of course, we've talked about a lot of other tools that you can use. I mean, if you need to speak to a counselor on anything, of course, do all those things. But I'm just giving you some basic things here. There are a few thoughts and questions to consider, or to maybe ask yourself when it comes to eating food. And when you also think about it from like a logical perspective, you start to, it helps you to make better decisions moving forward, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense as I talk about a few of these things. So here are a few little thoughts and questions to consider. First one. There are other people in this world who do not have access to food like I do. So why am I stuffing my face with food when there's someone else who cannot eat? Or this is food somebody else who really needs it could eat. Another one to consider. I know what this brownie, cookie, cake, whatever, I know what this tastes like. It tastes amazing and I love it. So why do I need to keep tasting it? I can taste it again tomorrow if I want. Another point. Since binge eating has a lot to do with the self, it's either like self-harm, self-sabotage, self-preservation, and so forth. Take yourself outside of the self for a moment and put your focus and energy on the world around you, the people around you, the animals around you. There are other things going on in this world that need our attention than focusing on just the self and filling the self with food. And you've probably heard me say this one tip before, but I'm going to mention it again. But when you go out and you are traveling, or you're at a party or an event, I mean, yes, by all means, indulge, enjoy yourself, but do your best to be more people-focused and experience-focused than you are food-focused. Practice this. I know as growing up later in my later teenage years, cell phones became really big, and there's always this talk of like, oh, people are sitting there together and they're on their cell phones and everyone's giving them heck about get off your cell phone and engage with us and all that. That's the same thing with food. If you're going out for dinner at a restaurant, that's a different story with food. But if it's at a party or an event or you're traveling, try to focus, like I said, on the people around you, the experiences, the world, okay, rather than just focus on what you're going to eat next, okay, because the food is always, always, always going to be there. It's always going to be there. No one is ever going to let you go hungry, okay? No one ever will. You will always have food, okay? Physiologically, we can prevent a binge eating episode by not being so strict with our diets. So we don't eliminate foods or food groups, okay? We don't say certain foods are good or bad, or I'm cheating on my diet. We don't use that language because that can really screw us up, okay? You don't want to have to eat a certain way that you have to cheat on it, okay? If you end up binge eating one day, first of all, forgive yourself, but then do not restrict your calories the next day to make up for it. Go back to your regular caloric intake because you do not want to get into disordered eating like that. It actually makes the issue worse because then you think, okay, well, if I binge eat this now, or if I eat this extra amount of dessert tonight, I can just eat less tomorrow. Thinking that in your brain, and it is common, don't worry, I've done it before too, that is an issue. That is disordered eating. That is not healthy. This is another reason why I don't lower anyone's calories very low by any means, or keep you in a deficit for an extended period of time, because physiologically, that's another thing, physiologically, your body will push you into food-seeking behavior and make you gain weight because it doesn't want you to lose too much weight. Okay, the body is pretty smart. It's preserving itself, right? So oftentimes, you'll see a lot of people, they do these like crash diets, or they do these like little cleanses where they're like have hardly any calories, like not even 1,000 calories a day. And then afterwards, like all they want to do is eat. And they're so food focused by that point. Psychologically and physiologically, they're screwing themselves up. And it just blows my mind. So anyway, I'm going to start rambling and or ranting, I should say. So you want to bring yourself back to your regular caloric intake, okay? And this is why I promote flexible nutrition, a flexible way of eating that, if you are like in love with ice cream, great. And, you know, you want to eat it, then have it. Like, don't, I mean, if you struggle with the binge eating issues like that, don't restrict yourself. Okay? Because that's a vicious cycle. You restrict and you binge, you restrict and you binge, you restrict and you binge. How about we stop restricting? Okay? So if you want ice cream or you want pizza or whatever it is, you know, you could find recipes to make those foods a little bit healthier or less calorically dense. Or you can eat the regular conventional thing, whatever you want to do. Just allow yourself it, don't restrict it, okay? Just stay flexible. Stay flexible, that's the key, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that for tonight because, you know, there's a lot to this, but my best tips for you right now are to focus on, number one, do not act on the urge that came from another part of your brain. Okay, you are in control and it will get easier over time. So keep doing your best to stop acting on the urges as they come. Stop yourself. Use a lifeline. If you remember that show, is it Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Use a lifeline. Call a friend or make a decision to do something else. Okay? Number two, redirect your energy to something positive like self-care rather than self-harm. Okay? We are on a journey here, on a process of taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves. And we will not self-harm if we love who we are. Number three, use the emotional freedom technique. The tapping, that's the tapping. Tap on the urge to binge. So the next time you have the urge to binge, there's a video in the members platform, and we will also go over the emotional freedom technique on next week's call. We'll do that together. But take a second and do that. Do the tapping and use all the points and verbalize what's going on, okay, because you can follow me in that video that I have. And then breathe, okay, because like I said, as soon as you can keep stopping acting on the urges, they become less and less frequent. And then number four is a really cool thing that I use that helped me quite a bit. Was listening to a hypnotherapy audio while I slept. And I still do it to this day. You know, it helps to it helps to reprogram those subconscious thoughts and beliefs. And, you know, it gives you some really beautiful messages that go into your subconscious mind. And for me, that was like night and day. That was a big help, listening to those audio recordings. And you can find these different ones online. And if you are really interested in it, I can probably find a link for you. But you could also Google it. And I like Steve G. Jones. That's what his name is. There's probably another Steve Jones, but he's Steve G. Jones. He's a hypnotherapist and he's an NLP practitioner. And he's great. And I've got lots of his different audios that I like to fall asleep to. And yeah, so that's another tip there, is to optimize your sleep by using hypnotherapy. Okay. Hopefully these tips have helped, but please leave a comment below if you're watching the replay and let me know if anything resonated with you, or let us know what you like to do in those food moments, or let us know what you plan on implementing. Okay? I promise you, you are in control here, and you can and you will overcome this. It's just a work in progress with ups and downs, twists and turns. And if you keep at it, you will make it to the other side. Okay, you've got a great community here to help you. So stay engaged with us and stay focused on the positives. Okay, look at any challenge as an awesome opportunity. And keep working at it, because, you know, like I said, you will overcome it. And then down the road, you can help other people, which is really cool. All right, so I want to have a great night or day whenever you are watching this. And remember, that there will be some new mandatory minimums being implemented. Very important. All right, we will talk soon. Leave a comment below. Bye.